So one of the questions that I get quite frequently when I'm up in front of a room teaching a class is, where do I get my leads from? And the answer that I always give is from my database. And people kind of scratch their head and go, okay, great, that's not very helpful. So I wanted to make this video about basically what I fill my database with. And I think that most of the folks have this idea that I spend all my time doing cold calls, ripping through neighborhoods, calling FSBOs and expireds and just straight up cold calls, talking people into listing their houses and so forth. And that's just not at all what goes on. Truth be told, when I'm on the power dialer and I'm having these conversations that I have with folks, most of the time I'm talking to people who are in my database that came in from just a large number of different sources. So what I've got up here on the smart board behind me is a graphical representation of the top 10 lead sources for all of my sales in the last 5 years. So I'm going to go through this with you real quick. So here in the blue, you see this is Google AdWords, pay-per-click. And then we've got the dialer calls, and this is certainly a significant number of settlements that have taken place here. And this is things like cold calls, circle calls for just listed, just sold, open house invitations, things like that. Then you've got client referral. Of course, that's going to be a big one for everyone. And you got Zillow. We actually get a lot of leads from Zillow simply because for quite a few years we were listed as the top sales in our zip code. So people were just calling us because we were listed as number one. And you've got agent referral. So we get folks that send us business from other states and other areas because, again, they're finding us online and seeing our stats. You got yard signs. That's a big one. It's surprisingly big. Open houses. So if you're thinking open houses aren't worth your time, that's one of our top 10. And we certainly sell a lot of houses. You get friends and family. And Google organic results. So this is just search engine results. And then this last one, this big, the biggest category here, I don't know if you can see it on the video, but it says 37 more. So this largest chunk here is, I'll call miscellaneous, and that's an aggregation of 37 different lead sources. And it's anything from Craigslist to direct mail, just, door knocking, whatever it is. So I think the key is that everything works. Everything works to fill your database, but if you're just relying on one source of leads, you're not going to get nearly as far as if you diversify. And the way that I have come to run my business is that every single time I list a property, I go about marketing it in every different way that I can think of, and then make sure that every time I do market the property, every piece of that marketing plan is it has something I call a lead capture mechanism that is guaranteed to get the contact information for the person inquiring into my database, so that I can then load that into my power dialer and make all my calls. So that's how the whole thing is structured. We've got basically this lead funnel that is built up of a large number of smaller sources that add up to a big total, and then what we're doing is we're dialing into the database where the aggregate of all these lead sources is being nurtured. Okay, so that's leads demystified. That's where I'm getting my business, lots and lots of different places. So if there's something that you want to try, go ahead and try it. If you have a way of getting somebody's contact information, it will work over time. All right. And I will leave the parting comment here is that in putting together this information, one of the things that I was able to get out of this statistical analysis is that the average cash conversion cycle, or the time that it takes to get from the first hello with a customer to the settlement table, is over 8 months. So don't get discouraged when you have leads coming in and you call people and you talk to them and you find out they're not ready to move. That's not how this business works. Very few lead sources will just show up and settle. Okay, there's normally a nurturing timeline. I mean, more often than not, they're going to be on the longer timeline versus the shorter timeline. So you want to make sure that you set your processes up for the long game. Okay, so I hope you found this useful. As always, I'm Jason Morris. Thanks for your time and attention. Take care, and I'll catch you on the next video.